Yes, hello everyone. Again, I am here to give you another video for C programming tutorials, and today I'll be giving you another example of a programming program that will be using single dimensional array. Okay, so I think this is one of the most challenging topic in C programming also. As we go on with our array examples, I'll be also giving you a little bit harder, programming problems. Okay, and that's last time that we'll be discussing multi-dimensional array. Okay, but then prior to my discussion, I would like to request please click subscribe on this YouTube channel, kuyaeggworld. Actually, when you are going to get inside and look at it, the my YouTube channel is composed of a lot of varieties of video content. I posted family bonding videos. I also have this mukbang with Marvin. I also have some joke times with Boss Edgar. I have this unboxing and so on and so forth. Just to make my this Kuya Egg World actually is it's all about my activities in life. Okay, so I will be showing you my online notepad, right? Here, uh, we'll try to create a program that will check as to how much the maximum and the minimum value inside an array. Okay, so if you have this array variable that will cater five values, among the five values, our program will tend to evaluate and display the maximum and the minimum value. Okay, so I have here a program which I'm going to we'll try to simulate it manually, and I hope along the way I'll be able to share my technical know-how in C programming, and you as viewers will get to digest the examples because our style in here is I'll give example, program example, and I'll discuss. We'll try to simulate it manually, and then after simulating it manually, we'll try to run it to our online compiler. Okay, and in between the lines, I'll be sharing my inputs in C programming tutorials. Okay, so as usual, I start, I always start with my program, C program, with this library stdio.h. And here, this is something new. Uh, I did try to declare max size as a constant variable, which is a value of 100. Meaning, at any part of at any part of our program, when I'm going to use max size, I am good as I did use 100 as a value. Okay, that's constant. Okay, so this one way also of making our program structure. Okay, so here uh, I have two functions, int get size and void display. Now this int get size will try to get the size of an array. Okay, our program will ask for an array size. If for example we'll try to supply 5, meaning that 5 is actually the size of our array variable, meaning our array variable can hold 5 values. Now take note, okay? Anyway, I'll discuss this max size in a while. And void display, this function will display the maximum value and the minimum value. Okay, of course, after using loop statement. In this particular example, I did use for loop. I am so inclined with for loop statement. Okay, so this is now my main program. our main program, by the way. Okay, it's a little bit longer than the usual main program of our video. And I tried to declare an array variable r, all right, and then our r can, can accommodate max size. Now take note that max size is actually a constant variable which contains 100. So our array variable r is capable of holding even up to 100 size of an array. And then I did have this I as an integer, max, right, min, and size. I'll be using all these variables in my program. Okay, please take note of this. In C programming, you are not allowed to use variables which are not being declared in the declaration file. Okay, so here, this is now function programming. My size variable. Now this is what? This is an integer variable. Size tend to call get size. Now get size is a function, and while we are trying to call get size, we're bringing nothing. Get size demands no parameters. Okay, so at this point in time, our variable size is waiting for the result of get size. So C compiler will then look for get size function here and then execute. So we have this local variable size, and we have this what? Enter size of the array. Okay, and then scanf %d, because size is what? It's an integer variable. So say for example our value is 3, right? We'll try to make use of smaller value just to minimize time in manual simulation. And when we press enter key, that 3 will be stored to size. Are you following? Okay, and here return size means what? Return whatever is the value of size. The value of size is 3. So we are trying to return 3 to the caller, which is also size. Okay, so this variable now contains 3. Are you following? Now here, it moves then in here. So it will display what? Enter elements in the array. \n means what? Move to the next line. Alright? So here I did use loop statement to ask for elements in the array. And I did try to use whatever is the value of size as my upper limit. So meaning my loop statement, our loop statement there will try to loop how many times? It depends upon the value of size, because size is our upper limit value. So since size has a value of 3, meaning this loop body will be performed how many times? 3 times, because we tend to use size as our we tend to use size as our upper limit. Okay, so here for loop we initialize by the way, I'm sorry for a little interruption. My car is trying to block the another car. Okay, so somebody get my cake. Okay, so here we try to initialize our I by how much? 0. Alright, and then our loop statement then check if your I, which is 0, is less than the size. Our size is 3, which is actually true, meaning the condition is true. And the function of loop statement is of course for loop. If the condition is true, what's next? Perform the loop body. The loop body says scanf, meaning ask for a value from the user, and that value will be stored at r R is an array variable, and R followed by whatever is the value of I as our index. So say for in this particular, since the condition is true, this one will be performed. So assuming we entered 5, so when we press 5, 5 is being stored to R. Yeah, value of I. How much is our I? Our I is 0. So R index 0 now contains how much? 5 in our example. Okay? And then it goes back because of this curly bracket. And when it goes back, what happened? I plus plus. So meaning the value of I increases to 1. Are you following? Okay? And then our for loop then check the condition. Is your I, which is 1, less than 3? Still the condition is true. Now since the condition is true again, perform, alright, assuming we entered 3. Okay? So then 3 will be stored to R variable. Okay? Index whatever is the value of I. So our I is how much? 1. So R index 1 contains 3. Right? Curly bracket again. So it goes back. And when it goes back, the value of I increases by 1 because of I plus plus. So our I now becomes 2. Now question, is your I, which is 2, lesser than 3? Yes, the condition is true. Since the condition is true, perform again. Assuming the user entered 7. So 7 will be stored to array variable. Index whatever is the value of I. Our I is 2. Alright? So R index 2 contains 7 now. Curly bracket. So meaning increase the value of I. Our I now is how much? Previously it was 2. And I plus plus means what? Our I is 3. Question, is your I, which is 3, less than 3? No. The condition is now false. Now since the condition is false, do not perform. Exit from this loop body and move to the next line. The next line says what? Okay, we are trying to initialize max here. So our max now contains whatever is the value of R index 0. Our R index 0 is how much? 5. So our max now contains 5. Are you following? Okay. And then in here, min R 0. So meaning our min now contains whatever is the value of R index 0. Our R index 0 is 5. Why is that so? Okay, why is that so? Because, and in here we are trying to initialize the value of max and min as to its starting point. We are assuming that max contains whatever is the value of the first array element. Same with min. This is our baseline value, max and min. Now look at this. In here, again another for loop. And within our for loop, we have two if statement. The first if statement will try to ask as to how much is the bigger value, the biggest value. And the second set of if will check as to how much is the smaller or the smallest value. Okay, so here, I is being initialized by 1 or to 1. And then condition is your I, which is 1, less than size. Our size is how much? 3. So the condition is true. Now since the condition is true, get inside the loop body. This is the loop body. And the loop body says what? Check. Try to check. Try to check if what? if your R index I, okay, is your R index I. So how much is our I? Now, our I is 1. So meaning how is our, whatever is our R index 1, R index 1 contains 3. Okay? So, is R index 1, right, greater than max? Good as saying what? Is R index 1, which is actually 3, okay, is 3 greater than our max, the baseline value, which is 5. Okay, so which is 5. The condition is false, right? Now, since the condition is false, do not change the value of max, because the purpose of this if statement will try to check as to what is the bigger or the biggest value. And if ER or RI contains bigger value than the max, then whatever is value is that, stored it to max. Meaning replace 5 by this one if it's bigger. And if it's not, then do nothing. So since the condition is false, do not perform this one, but then proceed to the next. The next line says it's another condition. Okay? It's another condition. And the condition says what? Is ER R1, which is actually 3, right, lesser than max, which is 5. Are you following? The condition is true. Now, since the condition is true, perform this one. Right? Perform what? Perform min is equal to ERRI. So RI. RI contains what? 3. So the new value of min now is 3. So take note, from 5 it becomes 3 now. Why? Because the purpose of this statement is to check for the smaller value. Now, since the baseline is 5, alright, which is actually the value of R0, index 0, then we'll try to replace it by 3 because we are trying to look for what is the minimum value of the elements in the array in this particular example. Okay. Now here, it moves again because of this curly bracket. And when it goes back to the main, right, our I now becomes how much? It becomes 2 because of I++. And now it the for loop statement tend to check, is your I, which is 2, lesser than 3, which is actually the value of size. The condition is true. Now, since the condition is true, what's next? Get inside the loop body again and check for several conditions, 2 conditions. The first condition says what? Is your RI. Our RI now is how much? Our I is 2, meaning R index 2. Our R index 2 contains 7. Okay, right? So is your R index 2, which is actually 7, greater than max? Our max is still 5, greater than 5. The condition is what? The condition is true. Now, since the condition is true, perform this one, meaning replace the value of max. So max now contains whatever is the value of Ri, meaning R2. Our R2 is 7. So max now contains 7. Are you following? And it goes down in here. When it goes down, it checks for the condition. Is your R2, which is actually 7, lesser than 5? The condition is false. Since the condition is false, do not perform this one. And proceed to the next line. Curly bracket. Curly bracket means what? Go back to the main and increase the value of I because of this I plus plus. So I now contains how much? 3. Check. Is your I, which is 3, lesser than 3? This time, the condition is false. Now, since the condition is false, right? Do not get inside the loop, but look for another statement right after this curly bracket. The next statement is what? Display max and min. Display is actually a function, and we are at this level we are trying to call display function, and when we are trying to call display function, we have to bring max and min. How much is our max? Okay, so we are trying to call display, right? And when we call display function, we bring, or we must bring max. How much is our max? Our max is 7. So we'll try to bring 7, comma, and then min. How much is our min? Our min contains 3. So that's 3. And then C compiler will tend to look for display. It's here. And display needs to have 2 parameters, the max and min. So this max contains 7, and this min will contain 3. Right? Okay. So then followed by the 2 printf statement, and it will display what? Maximum element, okay, equal sign, then followed by %d. %d means what? Whatever is the value of max. Our max is how much? 7. And then the next one is what? Minimum element, right? Followed by %d, whatever is the value of min. Our min is how much? Our min is 3. Okay, so 3. So this is now the result of our manual simulation. From the 3 elements of an array 5, 3, 7, our program display 7 as the maximum and display 3 as the minimum value, which is actually correct. Okay, so that's it. That's single array dimensional programming, and of course trying to integrate function programming. Right? That's a good thing with C programming. Very challenging. It's very challenging. So we'll try to do the same, but instead of manual simulation, we'll try to use our online compiler. It's in here. This is actually the same program that I was discussing a while ago. Okay, and we'll try to run. Okay, what value was that? Our size is 3, right? And we tend to supply 5, 3, and 7, right? 5, 3, and 7. Oh, correct, this one. 5, 3, and 7. Okay. We'll try to press enter K. When we press enter K, our program display maximum element is 7, minimum is 3. We'll go back to our notepad. Maximum is 7, minimum is 3, which is actually correct. Okay. Now we'll try to have another example. Say for example, we need to have 10 size of an array. We need to supply 10 values. 5, 7, 3, 9, 0, not 0, 8, right, 100, right? What's that? 40, 54, 7, 43. All right. Now here, have this. The maximum value is 87, which is actually correct, right? And the minimum value is 1, which is actually correct. All right. So that's it. Another example. We'll try to have a, say for example, 13 size. So we need to supply 13. So 56, 76, 45, 54, 58, 0, right? 34, 43, 33, so many values in here. Right? It is 7. See? That is. The maximum element is 87, which is actually correct. And the minimum element is 0. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope I was able to explain the program. I was able to share my know-how, and you as viewers, you are able to understand and digest the program. Okay, if you have some questions, please feel free to do some comments. And if there's a need for me to to have another example just to let you digest the topic, then no problem. Just share your comments in there. Okay, and please, okay, please click subscribe button, and please share this video to your and this channel to your friends, right, to your classmates, relatives, neighbors, right, who are dreaming to become a good programmer. Okay, as I always mention in here, if you want to become a programmer, the best way to start is to learn C programming language. Okay, thank you so much for now. God bless you.